Near mint condition, the home of collected editions.
That cover's so awesome. That, as they say, is that. Marvel Comics. Let's go ahead and get started. Happy Monday, all you minties. Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. And join me today for your advanced look at the Spider-Man by Joe Kelly Omnibus from Marvel Comics. So let's go ahead and take a look at this book together. And welcome back, everybody. Before going any further, a big thank you to David Gabriel and the fine folks at Marvel for sending us an advanced copy of this omnibus. This omnibus is due out in the direct market and book market on January 28th or 29th, depending on where you get your books. And speaking of direct market, book market, what we're looking at here is the direct market cover. This is the one that's supplied by Phil Jimenez. On the left-hand side is your standard edition cover. And that is the one that is supplied by Ken Lashley. And of course, the image at the bottom is different of Spider-Man, but it does have the same blue spine design with the red logo on it. But everything underneath the dust jacket is the same. So let's shift the focus back to this Spider-Man. And there we have Venom. But which version of Venom? I'll get to that when I go and look inside the book here to talk about the stories collected. Fighting Spider-Man by Joe Kelly. And you have Bacalo, that's right. Thank you to my buddy Curtis, Epic Marvel Podcast, Lark, and Sandoval, the Marvel logo. Marvel Omnibus, Spider-Man by Joe Kelly, Bacalo, Lark, Sandoval, Spidey's head down there, and then some more images here from Phil Jimenez and some from Chris Bacalo. One of the funniest writers in comics tackles the wisecracking web slinger. Before I take it off the dust jacket, I've been getting a lot of questions as to where this fits into the reading order of Spider-Man. And it's a little tricky because technically, yes, it takes place after Brand New Day Volume 1. The stories in here take place after that. There's no double dipping with Volume 1. There will be some double dipping with Volume 2. And then, of course, when we get to Big Time. So before Superior Spider-Man, however, you have a couple of stories in here that technically take place between Nick Spencer Omnibus Volume 1 and 2. But to play it safe, I think it just kind of belongs wherever you want to put it. I myself will keep it in between Brand New Day Volume 1 and Superior Spider-Man. But I will talk about what is collected in here. Now, underneath the dust jacket, here we go. We have Joe Kelly Loves Spider-Man and a little bit about the creators. So Joe Kelly, Chris Bacalo, Michael Lark, and Gerardo Sandoval taking the top billing. And then this image from Chris Bacalo. This is during the Non-Stop Spider-Man. Alright, so we are going to crack this omnibus open, talk about the stories found in here, and don't let this mislead you. He is the wisecracking web slinger, but there's some really powerful stories in here, really dark stories and sad stories in here. I won't go too much into spoilers, of course, but let's go ahead and open it up and talk about the stories, look at the artwork, and then, of course, the build of the book. Okay, let's go ahead and crack this omnibus open. And we have this title page, Spider-Man by Joe Kelly, featuring this crazy man spider. And then, of course, the credits. So you have all of this written by Joe Kelly. You do have people like Chris Bacalo, and as the title states, the credit states, Michael Lark and Rafael Sandoval. But you also have people like Barry Kitson or Max Fiumara, and also Corey Smith doing some of the artwork through here. Oh, and there is a team up with Ken Nimura from the I Killed Giants comic. So collected in here is Amazing Spider-Man, or rather the material from the Amazing Spider-Man Extra number 1 and 3, and material from Amazing Spider-Man 577, 600, 612, 634 to 637, and 647, and Spider-Man Grim Hunt, the Kraven Saga. Also in their full issues that are collected in here is Amazing Spider-Man 575 to 576, 595 to 599, 606 to 607, 611, 617, and 625. and the complete non-stop Spider-Man issues 1 through 5, and Savage Spider-Man 1 through 5. Big surprise towards the end here is the Marvel Fanfare 2 and 3, and then Web Spinner's Tales of Spider-Man 7 through 9. The book has 880 pages and retails for $100. So in here, I am going to be talking about some spoilers that have happened previously. In case you haven't read something like One More Day or the beginning of this, the Brand New Day era, because we're going to be looking at different status quos for some of these characters that you may be familiar with. In case you've been out of comics, just in case, some spoilers going into this. Okay, it is during this time when Spider-Man is single. It is after One More Day. Harry Osborn is back. Norman Osborn is back. And they both have different roles. Spider-Man is also here at the beginning, not quite yet, but then a little bit. Actually, after the story arc, you'll see him playing a bigger role with the Avengers, because he is a big part of the new Avengers during this time. But we do have a big mayor election that is going on right now, and then there's a bunch of gang activity that is at its all-time high. Mr. Negative, who's this new villain that was created during the Brand New Day era, is now able to tweak people's power, and his newest enforcer is none other than a classic Spider-Man villain, Hammerhead, who looked up to the character of Al Capone, or the person Al Capone, and it's interesting the conversation him and Mr. Negative have. So he gets new powers, and he goes full blast on Spider-Man, going after him and some of his supporting cast. So we do have some supporting, or rather some new supporting cast members through this era of Spider-Man. One of them who will play a big part throughout this entire omnibus is that of Nora Winters. You'll still see characters like MJ through here, and as I mentioned, Harry Osborn. But this is the big fight between Hammerhead and Spider-Man, Chris Bachalo supplying this particular story arc. So this is divided into different story arcs. There are some, like I said, material from, this is a confrontation between J. Jonah Jameson and this gumshoe who claims to know who is behind the Spider Slayer. The extra story here is so messed up because it shows you the kind of relationship that Norman and Harry Osborn have. Somebody steals Harry's bike, and Norman's like, all right, well, let's go get the bully and let's go get your bike. But instead of getting his bike back after scaring the bully, he beats the crap out of it, making it completely useless and teaching his son a lesson. We do have this new character named Menace, and that will be revealed, the identity of Menace will be revealed through a story arc in this omnibus. So the next book we're going to be talking about is this American Son. Now, again, this is set during the time when Spider-Man was with the New Avengers, and Norman Osborn had taken the place of Tony Stark as director of S.H.I.E.L.D. and kind of revamped everything and had made his own Avengers, which is that particular story is collected in the Dark Avengers storyline. So you'll see cameos by Wolverine through here and other Avengers. But yes, this is the story of how Norman Osborn, because of his rise to power, kind of puts his son in with the rest of his new Avengers. And his new Avengers are made up of characters like a new Spider-Man, a new Wolverine, a new Miss Marvel, and you have Captain Marvel, or Marvel Boy here, and Ares, and a new Hawkeye. I'm not going to reveal who some of these characters are, but I promise you'll find out who is behind that black suit that gets to fight Spider-Man. And I said that there was a new Venom through here, but it's not Eddie Brock, it's somebody else, and you can find out exactly by checking this book out. So that's what this is. This is a relationship between Norman and his son Harry, and fighting against Spider-Man for what could be the final fight, right until the next one. We start seeing the setup for what will be the next storyline, and that is the Grim Hunt storyline. But not before we get the return of Black Cat. These are actually some funny issues. I talked about how this book this is Mike McCone doing some of the artwork here. How this book has that big wisecracking web slinger thing on the back, but there's some deep and powerful issues through here. Especially with I'll talk a little bit about it here. It is the return of Black Cat, and she's not alone. And this is, to me, I think, one of the funniest stories that is collected in here. Man, the Jeffrey Scott Campbell artwork on those covers. Yowza. This is the Deadpool issue right here that features the character of Lady Stiltman. So this is another one that's goofy. And it has been collected before in the, what was it, the Spider-Man and Deadpool story. This is a reunion with J.M. Ken Nimura and Joe Kelly from I Kill Giants, showcasing the relationship between Black Cat and Spider-Man. It's not the only time that they're going to be reunited. Now we have this endangered species storyline that is going to lead into the Grim Hunt, and this is where we have the character of Alexei, the original Rhino, face off against a new Rhino. And what does this new Rhino have to do with Kraven's family? Well, you will get to find out all of the Kraven storyline in the Grim Hunt. So Grim Hunt is the Kraven family that is still alive trying to resurrect some of their family members by sacrificing the life of Spider folks. And it's very similar to what they did in Spider-Verse, but they're using it life for life. So I'm not going to spoil how one of the characters comes back, but they do end up sacrificing a spider person. And then eventually does Kraven get to come back? Because that is the, like, that's what this is, right? It is the Grim Hunt. It is the return of Kraven the Hunter and some of his family members. And could he come back if the right person is sacrificed, if you will? There is the return of the black costume through here. And there's this huge fight between Spider-Man and Kraven's family through here that is just badass when he's wearing that. I love that black costume. And it is, of course, very reminiscent of the Kraven's Last Hunt era. But let's skip a little bit through here because, oh, now we're moving on to Non-Stop Spider-Man. Non-Stop Spider-Man is an interesting miniseries. It takes place really during the time of Joe Kelly's run or after his run, after Superior Spider-Man, but really it can be read at any time as long as you're familiar with some of these supporting cast members like Nora Winters, who will play a big part in this. So this is all about a drug, and this drug is having an effect on some college students, and Spider-Man finds out about this. So there's this group of people that are going around selling this drug called A plus? Is it plus? Yes, A plus. And this drug is designed to leech off the victim's brain power away from them and channel them into well, that's a spoiler, but you can find out who. And it's leeching these brain powers by getting rid of the wrinkles in your brain. It's a pretty interesting concept, and the people behind this, well, I'll have to talk a little bit about because it leads into the next story arc. It is none other than Hydra. So Baron Zemo is in charge of everything that it's maybe perhaps supplying the drug. This is one that came out in 2020, but I think there were some delays because it came out in 2020. Chris Bachalo doing the artwork. And what the title states, Non-Stop, it's exactly that. Is this the Brother Zapatos? I think that's their name, Los Hermanos Zapatos or something like that. They're luchadores. But panel to panel, it is a non-stop ride, and that's what you're in for this. I love that they have to tell you how to follow the panels at times because he can get crazy. But yes, he is constantly running through here. It is that kind of energy that Chris Bachalo brings into this miniseries. Now, the miniseries ends on a bit of a cliffhanger that takes us to the Savage Land, where we now have a man spider that is going around. Now we have Gerardo Sandoval doing the artwork here, but it is a continuation of that Non-Stop Spider-Man and how this man spider has to fight Baron Zemo. The surprise to me, and it's a much welcome surprise, are these issues back here. The Marvel Fanfare issues, not the original Marvel Fanfare, the classic Fanfare, but this era of Marvel Fanfare from the 90s when they were trying out this 99-cent monthly comic. This is Pop Mon doing the artwork here. And it first doesn't have the character of Spider-Man in it. It is just Wolverine, the Hulk, and the Wendigo. But I'm so glad it's collected in here because it leads directly into the next issue where now it's Spider-Man and Ghost Rider versus the Wendigo. So it's the same Wendigo from that story. And yes, this is Ghost Rider's outfit. If you're getting the Omnis, that won't happen until, well, depending on how it's mapped, the fourth Omni of Danny Ketch's run. And there is an explanation as to why it looks like that. And then we get these issues right here, the Web Slinger Spider-Man. These are retro issues, kind of like the Tangled Web issues that Kurt Busiek worked on, but this is Joe Kelly's run. So it takes place in the past. And it just features these classic characters. Some of them are still alive during this time that are no longer with us. All right, now let's look here in the back because we have a lot of back matter. So we've got variant covers back here. I don't think I've ever seen that one. That's the Richard Nixon one. There's the Casada one. Amazing Spider-Man by Scotty Young. Oh, yeah, I remember these. I thought they were house ads, but apparently they were full covers. And then Craven's Grim Hunt. So it's everything written by Joe Kelly, and I'm sure the question's going to be, does it still make sense if I'm getting things like Brand New Day? So yes, it will, because they're broken up into different story arcs. Grim Hunt had more into it, and a lot of it was built up around the Gauntlet. And when that comes out, that will be fully completed. I think, you know, there obviously later on there's going to be some double dipping because of Brand New Day and eventually Big Time. During that era of Spider-Man, those issues will be collected in there. The ones that I don't see being collected anywhere else are issues like the Marvel Fanfare, which, like I said, was a nice surprise. And this back here, this retro story that is the web spinners, and then Nonstop Spider-Man and Savage Spider-Man. Don't really see those being collected anywhere else. We have some original art here, and then Phil Jimenez's original piece back here for that cover. But most of this is done with just variant covers right here. The American Sun sketchbook is what's back here. And then your end sheets. Now let's look at the build of this. 880 pages printed at the Donley printer. So let's check out how the bleed through looks. So there is a minimal bleed through happening, but honestly, I think, you know, you're going to find that in most of these books that have glossy paper stock. The important thing to me is how does it lay over with, especially, there's a lot of spread. Well, here's one, for example, spread pages. I'll find another one here in a little bit. So there is really minimal gutter loss. Yeah, like I said, Hammerhead is a huge fan of Al Capone. But yeah, that's not bad. Let's see how another one looks. Here we go. So you can just see the type of gutter loss there is. So it's very minimal. But that's it. That is Spider-Man by Joe Kelly. And that, as they say, is that. If you're interested in purchasing this omnibus, don't forget to check out our sponsors. BD Cosmos, the Canadian leader in graphic novels. They have a physical storefront in Montreal, Quebec, and their website, bdcosmos.com, offers 25% off your order of over $99 or more, and free shipping everywhere in Canada for every order of $250 or more.
Their shipping care is exceptional. Your books will stay cozy through the rough Canadian weather and arrive to you in near mint condition.
After checkout, let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way, and you'll be added to the monthly $25 gift card raffle. Entries are valid for new and returning customers.
Don't be afraid to call or email them. Ask them questions. Their staff is always happy to help guide you towards the right purchase. Visit their website, bdcosmos.com, for more. BD Cosmos, with rewards and raffles taking care of customers in Canada. Eh?
CheapGraphicNovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget that CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. And that was the content, the page count, and build of this omnibus. Let me know in the comments down below if you are picking this up, if you're a huge Spider-Man fan and you have to have everything Spider-Man in oversized hardcover edition, or if you have the trade paperbacks already, the complete collections, the standard size hardcovers, or if you're going to wait for Brand New Day Volume 2 and then Big Time. I would love to know all those comments down below. If you have any questions, leave them down below. And that's it, everybody. Stay healthy and safe out there. Much love.